Hello, and welcome to another episode of Ask an Assistant, the podcast for executive assistants and the people that love us. I'm your host, Jess Lindgren. Let's get to work. Today, we are talking about mail merges. I have been seeing a lot of questions about mail merges come through lately, and it's super timely information with the holidays right around the corner. If you are personally in charge of holiday cards or gifts in your office or work with the person who is, a mail merge really can be a lifesaver for your fingers, wrists, hands, elbows, shoulders, brain. That way you're not writing out dozens, if not hundreds of addresses by hand. So very useful life skill if you're working in an office and doing a lot of custom mailing projects. Per Microsoft, the home of the mail merge, quote, mail merge is all about mass mailings that you individualize for each recipient. You can add individual elements to any part of a label, letter, envelope, or email, from the greeting to the entire document, even images. You start with a main document, attach a list of recipient information, and add mail merge fields. Unquote. So their description was a little bit, if you're not super familiar, a little vague. So the main document is going to be a Microsoft Word document. And then you're going to choose from there a template for whatever product it is that you're using, whether it's mailing labels, name tags, table tents, etc. You're going to hear me talk about those three a handful of times throughout the episode. But you can pick out a template. Avery does a really great job. This is one place where I really feel like Avery is the way to go, brand name over generic. But anyway, so starting with that main document, that's going to be a blank Word document that you then choose a template from. A list of recipient information is going to be an Excel spreadsheet that has all of your information. So, like the most common one that I've done over the years is mailing labels. And so you want to put all of the information into your columns. So you might do name, like first name, last name, address 1, address 2, city, state, zip, any other information that needs to go onto a mailing label. And those are all going to be individual columns. While I was researching for this episode, I did find a couple places that said you can put like city, state, zip all in one field. I've always personally had better luck if I do everything in its own field. So do with that information what you will. But like their description said, you can do labels, letters, envelopes, emails, any kind of good stuff. But that's what your recipient information list is going to be. It's going to be an Excel spreadsheet that has all of that information broken down by column. And then you're going to add your mail merge field. So once you choose your template, let's just say it's going to be it's going to be a brand name Avery label. And you're going to put your first name, last name, address 1, address 2, city, state, zip. You're going to put all those fields into the mail merge, and then you're going to press the little mail merge wizard, and it's just going to magically make it happen for you, and it's going to be wonderful. The equipment that you need for a successful mail merge is going to be a printer of your choosing. Personally, I love a LaserJet printer or a thermal moment. Inkjet, kind of annoying. You have to wait for the ink to dry. If you're working with a company like HP is kind of notorious for this. They give you like 5 drops of ink and then have you on a subscription plan for the rest of your life that includes gifting them your firstborn child. Like, it's kind of wild. But you're going to want a printer of your choice, whatever works for your personal or professional setting. An appropriate pack of labels, name tags, tent tables, table tents, all that good stuff. A ream or case or whatever number of pieces of letterhead that you might need. A box of envelopes or the files that you want to include for a mail merged email. Now, when researching for this episode, the files for a mail merged email, I think that is absolutely fascinating that you can mail merge using individualized like images and stuff. Maybe you can even do individualized attachments for an email. I haven't had to do anything like that in quite some time, but it's very intriguing and I'm very excited to learn more about that um, for the future. Um, so, those are all of the kind of half the, not all, it's about half the stuff that you need for a mail merge. You also need that spreadsheet of recipient information, as Microsoft calls it. It's going to include all of the fields that you want to customize. So, for example, if you were sending me a letter, you might put Jessica on the mailing label, but then you might put Dear Jess on the paper that's inside of the envelope. So lots of different customization that you can do, which is really neat. You also need a copy of the Microsoft Office suite, home of the mail merge. If you happen to be a Windows user, like this will be very easy, very straightforward, no further equipment needed at all. If you are a Mac user, be sure to supplement that equipment list with a treat and or beverage of your choice because mail merging can be stressful. Personally, I am really great at maintaining my recipient information spreadsheet and gave my mother-in-law access to it. And now that I'm saying that out loud, I should probably give my own mother access to it. So I am putting that call on my to-do list after I do this recording. Call mom. All right. Anyway, by giving a couple other folks access to the spreadsheet, it makes it kind of collaborative. It gives people a little bit of buy-in into making sure that it remains current. It also keeps me from being the bottleneck to any information getting updated when there are family-wide changes. Then it's not like my mother-in-law or soon to be my own mother texting or emailing me when there is a change to someone's address. Like, take some ownership, make it happen, pop into that spreadsheet. You know where to find your sister's name, you know where to find your great aunt's name, you know where to find your cousin's name 3 times removed. Like, they're on the spreadsheet. Control F, Command F for my MacBook users. You got this. um it's also really nice because I can keep my friends on their own tab, my mom's side of the family on another, my husband's side on yet another tab. And on top of that, I have a spreadsheet that's just like it for business contacts on their entirely own separate spreadsheet. So that way that stuff can remain confidential and for my use only. Personally, this is, two sides of it here. I've got the personal side where I've got my mother-in-law and soon to be my own mom. Trusted family members having access to the spreadsheet is great. In my full-time job organization, it's just me and my executive. So, like, duh, obviously he gets access to the spreadsheet. It's his contacts that I'm maintaining. If I were ever to leave working with him, he needs access to that. I don't want to get a phone call from him next year when it's Christmas card time saying, "Hey Jess, where's that spreadsheet?" Like, you have access to it, my guy. But, you know, not in any worry of leaving that role anytime soon. I love working with my executive, but just making sure that he has eyes on that information, it's good, especially when it's just the two of us. It really can, though, if you're working in a bigger organization where you're emailing different versions of the spreadsheet back and forth. Different people might not have their operating system updated. They might not have their Microsoft Office up to date. Like, sending those spreadsheets back and forth gets annoying. You have somebody working with a version of the spreadsheet from 3 years ago. It can just be a lot having a shared spreadsheet. Things have gotten a lot better. You don't quite have the same like local storage creative solution problems that we used to have in like the mid 2000s, so like 2005 to 2010. Things like Google Drive, Dropbox, all those great things where documents are just automatically stored in one place. You can make real-time edits, things just update. It's great. We didn't have that back 20 years ago. My God. Um, but yes, it can be a bit much when you're emailing it back and forth between tons of people. Feel free to make a copy for yourself save as, make it local on your computer, make it something that only you can access. If you really have to be sharing a spreadsheet, lock the tabs that are yours. Password protect them. Don't let other people be in your information making edits. Also, as an executive assistant, you quite likely will be dealing with a lot of high profile and or confidential addresses. So do what's best for you when it comes to keeping that data secure. Um, as good as I am personally at maintaining the address spreadsheet, when it comes to executing the mail merge itself, the long and the short of it is I truly do not know how. I can read the step by step instructions, which are included in the episode description. So go check it out. I can go beat by beat on my computer. It still won't work on the first, sometimes the second, maybe even the third try. That's where that treat and or beverage are going to come in handy for my fellow Mac users. I've been using my Mac, the Mac. I've had several computers over the last 10-ish years, but I've been working strictly in the Mac OS since 2014. And the mail merge software seems largely designed, or at the very least, optimized for Windows-based machines. Um, in my last in-office executive assistant role, I had like a top of the line PC, space age printer that had a special tray to feed labels through. And I'm not talking about like when I was watching videos to prepare for this episode, they were talking about, use the bypass tray on your whatever desktop printer. This printer was like tall. It was like chest high. And it had like 5 different bypass trays. It had a special bypass tray for printing on photos. It had a special bypass tray for index cards, envelopes, um, any kind of paper that wasn't like your more standard letter and legal paper. And it had a specialized label tray, and it was the best. Every Avery template worked perfectly. I did a lot of big mail merge projects every year, like name tags for conferences, table tents for meetings, large runs of mailing labels for the sales team several times a year, holiday cards at the end of the year, like you name it. If a mail merge could do it, I was doing it. And it was so much fun. Like I feel super accomplished when I'm using my bells and whistles, space aged fancy pants printer, and everything just comes out all like nice and warm and cozy. And it's just fun walking your big stack of paper to whoever it is that needs it, or labels, table tents, name tags, what have you. But working on my MacBook Pro, on the other hand, I had one year doing my own personal holiday cards where no matter how many times I updated the drivers or uninstalled and reinstalled any number of printers, my labels were printing upside down and backwards. It was the right information. It was pulling from the right spreadsheet. It just all of the labels were printing upside down and backwards. It was super confusing. And honestly, after again, uninstalling, reinstalling printers, updating drivers, updating any and or all things that I could find on my computer, like I just ended up using my husband's computer to do the mail merge and the print job. Um, since 2018, a mail merge is something I only do once a year. So unfortunately, it's not a skill that I keep honed and at the ready. As far as physical equipment goes, I have a few different Dymo label writers. I have a Rollo printer that sometimes works and sometimes doesn't. I have a couple of cute little travel size thermal printers that I love for when I travel and just to not have to write out dozens of addresses when I send out postcards. It's so much fun. I also have a desktop Brother laser printer. His name is Hermano. If you're a Arrested Development fan, you know. Um, but I also have a custom address stamp. So I can choose based on the project between printing my own address labels or using the stamp. One of these years I'm probably going to involve my nieces and or nephews in the project. So I think the stamp might be where it's at. That's a little more fun for kids, don't you think? Um, I really need to pare down my collection though, because sitting down to think about it, I'm pretty sure that I haven't used any of the Dymo printers since I moved to New York, which like, why am I even hanging on to them? And how did I accumulate them all in the first place? My goodness. Uh, ugh. Over the past several years, like I have just spent way too much time trying to make a mail merge for holiday mailing labels happen. Like looking back on it, I probably could and or should have just handwritten everything and been done faster. Um, what I really need in my life at this moment in 2024 is someone who loves doing mail merges, someone who has the bells and whistles printer, someone who has a stack of Avery labels at the ready. I can just send them my contact spreadsheet and they will send me a package in the mail of ready to use address labels. If anybody out there listening offers a service like this, hit me up. I am not kidding. Like, I will put your info in the episode description. I will give you a shout out for next year's mail merge. I will talk about you all the time. If you are the person who loves doing these mail merges, get at me because I need you. And honestly, that's where we're going to leave it for today. If you're a Windows based computer user, MailMerge is a breeze. I sincerely hope and believe that it has only gotten easier over the years. If you are a Mac based computer user who loves mail merges and has tips to share, I am all ears. I don't know off the top of my head which computer it is that I have. I suppose since I'm recording about this Mac, I have a MacBook Pro 14-inch 2021. So this is a very nice computer. You know, it's not like the most brand new computer, but it is not old. Like, this is a great machine, and there is no reason why in 2024 the mail merge should not just work. I mean, other than the fact that it is Microsoft Office Suite, this is a Mac computer and not a Windows-based computer. So like, there is a reason it shouldn't work, but like, I really wish it did. And honestly, if you're the magical person out there who I'm looking for to do the mail merge for me and the print job, not just the mail merge, I need you to do the print job too. I want to hear from you. Askanassistant.com. Lay your comments, questions, thoughts, concerns, and rates for mail merge project on me. And that's it for today. So until next time, take care.